Welcome to Morgan Movies. Today, we will dive into the thrilling and captivating Season 4 of Peaky Blinders. After the intense events of the previous season, the Shelby family once again faces new challenges, from formidable enemies to tense internal struggles. Season 4 not only delivers breathtaking action scenes but also unveils deep secrets and conflicts within the characters. Join us as we recap the main events and explore what made this season so unforgettable. The first episode of Season 4 of Peaky Blinders, titled The Goose, begins with intense and dramatic moments as the Shelby family faces the consequences of the previous season. Arthur, John, Michael, and Polly are all imprisoned, awaiting execution for the crimes they have committed. As the Shelby family braces for the worst, an unexpected event occurs. Tommy uses his political influence to secure the family's release at the last minute. He presents convincing evidence implicating the King and Winston Churchill right before the execution is set to take place. As a result, the King is forced to pardon the Shelby members on the condition that Tommy destroys the evidence. The scene then shifts to a year later, in the winter of 1925, where the family members have gone their separate ways, each dealing with their own personal struggles. Tommy, still grieving the death of his wife, regularly seeks solace in the company of high-class prostitutes. Michael, though maintaining his composure, continues to serve as Tommy's secretary to keep the family business running, but he has also started using cocaine. Aunt Polly, however, is less fortunate, as she remains haunted by her experiences in prison, frequently suffering from hallucinations and conversing with her deceased husband, while drowning herself in whiskey and tranquilizers. After being saved from execution at the last minute thanks to Tommy's intervention, both Arthur and John face personal and family crises. They choose to live a quiet life in the countryside, away from violence and gangs, following the wishes of their wives. The family only begins to reconnect when Ada Shelby, who had distanced herself from the family's criminal activities, returns to Birmingham at Christmas after learning of the difficulties the family is facing. Meanwhile, Tommy starts to re-engage with the business, reaching out to Jesse Eden, a social activist and union leader organizing strikes to demand better wages and working conditions at Shelby Company Limited. Jesse threatens to lead a strike if their demands are not met. Tommy meets with Jesse to try to manage the situation and avoid disruptions that could impact the Shelby family's profits and business operations, but the two fail to reach an agreement. Also around Christmas, the Peaky Blinders receive an anonymous threatening letter from a New York mafia. The mastermind behind this is Luca Shangretta, the son of Vicente Shangretta. Luca begins his revenge campaign by sending white nooses to each member of the Shelby family. This is Luca's first move in declaring war on the Shelby family, signaling that he has come to England to avenge the deaths of his father and brother. Realizing the gravity of the situation, along with the discovery of a spy within his own ranks, Tommy is forced to contact all family members to increase vigilance, including Ada, who is not exempt from the threat. However, Tommy only manages to reach Arthur. John and Esme are too distracted with each other to notice the danger. Tommy has no choice but to send Michael to warn John. But as John and Michael step outside to move to a safer location, they are ambushed by a barrage of machine gun fire. John is hit multiple times and collapses on the spot, while Michael is also gravely wounded. The second episode of the season, titled Heathens, opens with the somber scene of John Shelby's funeral. Setting aside his grief, Tommy Shelby realizes that the family must unite and launch a coordinated counterattack to deal with the threat from Luca Shangretta. He begins to formulate a plan to protect the family and strike back at Luca and his gang. He secretly contacts Abrama Gold, a Jewish Romani hitman known for his exceptional combat skills, and arranges an ambush that results in the deaths of two members of the Italian mafia. This action by Tommy displeases some family members, particularly Polly. Unable to bear the ongoing violence and tension, Polly visits the hospital where Michael is recovering and urges him to flee with her to Australia. However, Michael, still fully trusting in Tommy, advises Polly to remain calm and support the gang, warning that the plan will collapse without her involvement. In his meeting with Abrama Gold, Tommy agrees to pay a substantial sum to ensure the family's protection. Additionally, Abrama requests another condition. He wants his son, Bonnie Gold, to be given the opportunity to box and become a champion. Tommy agrees to this condition after witnessing Bonnie knock out a much larger opponent, recognizing the potential to leverage his relationship with Abrama to strengthen his own power in the underworld. In the third episode, titled Blackbird, Tommy and Arthur are forced to quickly recruit dozens of new workers from the town to deal with the strike chaos instigated by Jesse Eden. However, this hasty action Michael's hospital room to vote on who will be the one to kill Luca Shangretta. Although Tommy wants Arthur to carry out the deed, Polly disagrees. She arranges for Linda to seduce Arthur in his office, causing him to miss the meeting. As a result, the vote passes for Brahma Gold to be the one to eliminate Luca. This decision enrages Arthur, who declares that he is done with all forms of violence. On another front, Tommy, armed with newly gathered information, seeks out Jessie Eden to confront her and investigate further into Luca Shangretta's mafia. However, instead of gaining any useful intel, Tommy finds himself cornered by Eden, who reveals that she knows about a deep pre-war romance of his. Realizing the severity of the threat facing his family, Tommy decides to take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, Polly Gray begins to execute her own plan, no longer fully loyal to Tommy's decisions. She secretly meets with Luca Shangretta, negotiating a deal that would spare Arthur and Michael in exchange for Tommy's life. In episode 4, titled Dangerous, the conflict between the Shelby family and Luca Shangretta intensifies. Tommy suspects that Luca's next target is Arthur, so he gathers the Peaky Blinders and surrounds the location where he expects a shootout to occur. However, after a long period of inactivity, Tommy realizes that Luca's real target is actually Michael, not Arthur. Luca and his gang indeed arrive at Michael's location, but instead of killing him, Luca informs Michael that the deal he made with Polly has been approved. Michael, however, chooses not to reveal this to Tommy. Luca's upper hand is short-lived, as Tommy has coordinated with Brahma Gold to ambush Luca as he leaves. Brahma and his men launch an attack on Luca and his associates, killing several of his men, but Luca himself manages to escape. Following this failed attempt, a distressed Tommy seeks out May Carlton, his former lover. Their reunion takes place as Tommy looks for support and comfort amidst the tension and danger of his ongoing war with Luca Shangretta. However, Tommy quickly realizes that their relationship cannot progress, and he ends it with May. It is also revealed that Lizzie Stark is pregnant with Tommy's child, and Polly is secretly planning to betray Tommy. On the business front, with the strike dragging on and the communist faction gaining ground, Tommy asks Ada to persuade Jessie Eden to side with him. Meanwhile, Tommy reaches out to Alfie Solomons once again to negotiate terms for the boxing betting operation. Alfie, known for his unpredictable nature and shifting loyalties, agrees to collaborate with Tommy. In episode 5, titled The Duel, the day Polly had arranged with Luca finally arrives. Tommy leaves alone, with Luca's mafia gang quickly tailing him. However, a major twist is revealed: Polly never actually betrayed Tommy. The deal she made with Luca was part of a larger plan orchestrated by Tommy himself. Following this plan, Tommy lures Luca's gang to a pre-arranged location, armed and ready, giving him a significant advantage. The ensuing shootout between the two sides is intense but adheres to the agreed rule of not harming civilians or children. Ultimately, Tommy gains the upper hand, taking down 3 of Luca's men and finally confronting Luca face to face. However, before they can finish their duel, the police suddenly arrive, putting an end to the battle. After the shootout, Tommy shares his victory with the family and prepares to welcome Lizzie and their unborn child into the fold. Meanwhile, Polly develops feelings for Brahma Gold after entrusting Michael to his gang for protection. On the other side, Luca, reeling from his heavy losses, contacts Alfie Solomons to plan a betrayal of Tommy during the upcoming boxing match. As for the communist faction, Ada is unexpectedly arrested by Colonel Ben Younger, who is responsible for investigating political activities related to socialism and fascism. Realizing that his sister's past involvement with communism might cause trouble, Tommy intensifies his relationship with Jessie Eden, hoping to secure a better outcome. In the final episode of Season 4, titled The Company, which is considered the best episode of the series so far, the long-awaited boxing match takes place. Tommy's condition for Bonnie is that if he can last until the 4th round before defeating his opponent, he will earn 20% of the total betting money. The match is thrilling, with Bonnie enduring through the first 3 rounds and then triumphing in the 4th round, securing the betting winnings for the Peaky Blinders. However, this is not the main event of the episode. During the fight, Arthur notices suspicious behavior from 2 trainers associated with Alfie Solomons' gang. He discreetly follows one of them backstage, where it becomes clear that the trainer was waiting to strangle Arthur with a rope. Tommy, initially dismissing Arthur's distress as a result of drug use, only intervenes when he senses something is seriously wrong. He arrives just in time to shoot the attacker, who had already rendered Arthur unconscious on the floor. This incident sends the Shelby family into turmoil, and despite winning the betting, Tommy is enraged and vocal about his frustration. After the fight, Tommy orders Michael to move to New York, believing he has betrayed him. At Arthur's funeral, Luca's widowed mother confronts Tommy, asserting that justice has been served with the deaths of her family members in exchange for the Shelby brothers. She demands that Tommy sign over all his assets to Luca. Recognizing Luca's growing power, having already absorbed Sabini and Solomon's territories, Tommy reluctantly agrees to the deal. However, Tommy has been plotting all along. At the transaction meeting, he reveals that Michael's move to America was actually a strategic move to reconnect with Luca's rivals and spread rumors about Luca's downfall. Tommy explains that Luca's remaining underlings are mere mercenaries without loyalty, who will follow whoever pays them more. Realizing he has been outmaneuvered, Luca, enraged, attacks Tommy but is easily beaten. In a climactic moment, Arthur reappears and delivers a decisive blow to Luca with a bullet. Tommy then resolves his conflicts with Alfie Solomons and reveals to his family his plan to fake Arthur's death as a tactical maneuver. He decides to step back from business temporarily for seclusion. However, the pull of his past dealings eventually draws him back into the family business. Tommy also wins Jesse Eden's affection and obtains crucial information about Communist Party members. Using this detailed intelligence, Tommy demands to become a member of Parliament. And ultimately, he secures the position, solidifying his power and influence. Season 4 of Peaky Blinders concludes with a dramatic victory for the Shelby family against their arch-nemesis, Luca Shangretta, but it also ushers in a new and perilous chapter in Tommy Shelby's life. Transitioning from a crime lord to a political figure, Tommy's increasing power brings with it unforeseen threats. The season finale not only signifies the survival of the Shelby family but also serves as a stark reminder of the harsh price of ambition and power, leaving many questions about the future of Tommy and his family in the seasons to come.